Chad Argo.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, bro?
Oh, not much, man. Living, loving.
You still hitting the gym?
I am, actually. I took a little break because I pulled a muscle in my pec. Something about passing that 40 mark. Things don't move as easy as they used to.
Well, what are these guys doing? You've got a story. Everybody's got a story. Mm-hmm. But certain people have certain stories that need to be heard. And I got to hear a little bit of your story down on Highway 96 in the Martins Creek area one day. You give me about 3 minutes of it, and we had to leave and go do something. We was dropping Eli off. But if you don't care, I want to take you back to that day in my mind, okay?
All right.
Okay. So we were going to church in 2020. You know my story. God delivered me from a 12-year addiction, and I got my family back, and we started hitting up church. Yeah. We was church. And we was going to a little church out in the 8th District called Rock Castle. And it was my first summer sober, and I was with my kids, and they asked me to be a cabin leader over the boys, 9 through 12, I think it was. So I'm like, yeah, brother, my son, he's 11. I'm in, you know.
Yeah.
And then we pull off from church, and I meet your son, mm-hmm. Eli, and we go to church camp, and it was like it clicked instantly. Him dating me. Eli's actually back there in the back, yeah. But it was a instant friendship, man. It was just. I can't describe it because I've never met a kid his age that was on the same level. You know, it's just I can't explain it. But I didn't know his background.
Right.
So anyway, we're in a cabin. I'm trying to get everybody down. There's like 16 boys to this 10, maybe a 12 by 20 cabin. It's like 12 o'clock in the morning. They're playing baseball with bats and basketballs are flying everywhere. And I try to get them calmed down, and I'm trying to tell them how good God is and how I was an addict. And, you know, because Dayton, he's sitting right beside me. He's my shadow.
Yeah.
And me and Dayton used to not be this close, but God come into my life, and he changed my life. And in the back, we hear some boys talking. And I told you this earlier. One kid says, well, I don't have a daddy. He died, you know. And then I hear another kid say, it was something terrible. I'm not going to put it online, but he'd been a rough childhood.
Yeah.
And then I hear a kid say, my dad got blown up in a meth lab. And I was like, dang. So the next day I tell my wife, I'm like, I have got to get with these boys. Like I thought my kids had it rough. I was like, some of these kids, I mean, there's this one boy's dad blew himself up in a meth lab. Yeah. I mean, so... and I didn't know who it was. I couldn't, you know, I didn't know Eli good enough to know that was his voice back there in the back with all the commotion. So we had a wonderful church camp experience, and we made a lot of friends. And then we leave church camp, and Eli comes with us. We're going to take him home to your house because you lived on 96, and I grew up on Martins Creek.
Yeah.
So it worked out good. But I meet you. He's like, come meet my dad. Sorry, this coffee's got me.
No, you're good, brother.
Come meet my dad. And here you come, man. You come out of the house and shake my hand. And I didn't know if I could talk about this, but you reached out to shake my hand, and I felt your hand was, it didn't shake my hand.
Yeah.
It was hard, and it was maimed up, and I felt scar tissue. Yeah. Now, in my mind, I'm going, okay, there's something has happened to him, you know. And then that little voice come in my head, well, my dad blew himself up in a meth lab. And I was like, this is him. And without looking at you going, oh, man, let me see. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is him. Yeah. And you told me just a little bit of the story of how you were in addiction, how you overcame addiction. And so I just want to get into whatever we talk about is what we talk about. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We're close, but we've never talked about it.
No, we haven't. Well, you came in hot right off the rip.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Get them before they change the channel. No.
Well, what I'd like to know is what was life before addiction?
Okay, yeah. You want to go back that far?
Yeah.
And that's fine too. So, addiction's a vicious cycle that affects, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use for that, generations.
Absolutely.
It's very much a generational thing. And not to get too far off topic, but I think that society has really taken away the importance of the nuclear family, of a mother and father in the household.
Well, what does that consist of? Is it mother, father, and 2.5? Is that what the definition of a nuclear family is? 2.5 kids or something like that? I was looking at that the other day. Sorry.
My half is over yonder.
Yeah.
But no, it's, yeah, and I mean, I realize you go back to the 50s and 60s and you'll find your problems. There was a lot more spousal abuse, and it really wasn't even frowned upon then. That was just normal.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about, and I don't mean a family where it's dysfunctional either.
Right.
There's something to be said about a mother and a father who are praying mom and dad, who go to church and have their children there and live the way I believe America was set up and designed to be from the beginning. My aunt and uncle are still, they married young. They may have had their teenage years, but they married young, brought their children up in church. All three of their children went on to go to college and pursue a career and didn't have the same problems we had. I realize it's a small sample size. I'm just comparing two families.
You're right.
But my mom and dad, my dad went to prison either right before I ever been able to be old enough to know him. You know what I mean?
Did you know him afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was like 12 before we built a relationship, because he was in and out of prison and battling his own demons. And instead of keeping me around that, my mom took me from here to North Carolina, actually, just totally removed from the situation. And I get it. Now, she did marry my sister's dad for a short time. Well, I say a short time. They were married 5-6 years or something. But, man, he was one of those people that he could be so amazing. Like, I always had four-wheelers and dirt bikes and, excuse me, that coffee's got my throat. I always had four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and we went on trips, and like he had this four-wheel drive, we'd go play in the mud. There were all these amazing times, but you had to be exactly like what he expected you to be, or it was brutal, dude. I mean, he beat the fire out of me if I just wasn't.
Was he military?
No, no. I think his dad might have been, but it was. You can't expect that from. At this time, they probably started dating when I was like 2, and I think they got divorced when I was around 9 or 10. You can't expect a child at that age to just be perfect all the time. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get in trouble at school. Things are going to happen. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with correcting your child. And I'm not even saying, as taboo as this is going to be, sometimes your child might need a spanking.
Absolutely. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah, but there's a big difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference in beating the crap out of a kid and punishing them, spanking them.
Yeah, there's loving correction.
Absolutely.
And I think if you get away from that, that's also really bad.
Well, we've seen it by kids raising kids, and you look around.
So we went, I was, like I said, I was around 12 or so when I finally really built a relationship with him. He's a good man now. He got it together and has done great things. He actually goes to church, and but all of my siblings on that side, I have a brother on that side, and then he eventually, when they got sober, she had 3 daughters. All of us in some form or another have battled addiction. None of us came from that nuclear household like I was talking about in the beginning. Like I said, I know it's a real small sample size, but I think the statistic is somewhere like in the 70s or 80% of people in prison come from a single parent household.
Yeah. Well, Charlie Kirk, he's
good. Always scored extremely high on test scores, and was really academic focused, was in a lot of academic focused groups and stuff. And then around that 12, 13-year-old mark, one has nothing to do with the other. My dad and this coming into play don't have anything to do with each other. I think it was an age thing. You start to come into the age where you're noticing girls and girls are noticing boys, and they don't like the kid that makes straight A's and doesn't, you know. So I think part of it just came with trying to fit in, and like anybody else, most likely started just smoking some weed and drinking and going to parties and things. And by my junior year in high school, the Oxycontin epidemic was, Oxycontins were everywhere then, man. And I had been doing, you know, hydrocodones and those kind of things.
in high school.
In high school.
Wow.
And by my junior year in high school, I was hooked on Oxycontin. Just had to have it.
With
you know
withdrawal and everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
I somehow I managed to graduate. You know, I was blessed with being really book smart. I say that as humbly as I can possibly say it.
Oh, yeah.
But I could go to class, sleep through class, and still make an A. Yeah.
That's the way Paisley is. That girl is, she's just smart.
Yeah. And I think a lot of my problem with school is I was bored.
Yeah.
You know, and so, and you get bored. Boredom and teenager is just not a good combination. And I realized that I blew up a meth lab, and that's how it ended up getting me sober. But opioids were my main thing. I didn't even really like meth.
Really?
I mean, I was an addict. I was addicted to being addicted. You're going to do whatever you got to do.
Yep.
But making meth was more of a means to be able to get the opiates. You know what I mean?
Oh, swapping out.
Yeah, I still did meth. It's not.
So let me ask you this. I thought about this last night. That was real meth days.
Not well. Some were, but what I blew up was a shake lab.
Oh, okay. For people that don't know, back in the day, they had labs, and they were busting them everywhere. They had to shut houses down. They had to condemn houses. They were having meth labs in their basement, their cars, and they were blowing up everywhere. And that particular meth back then, if a person was to try it, he'd be up for days at a time off of nothing. Yeah. And then they shut that down, and people started doing shake and bake.
Well, the FDA or whatever in control of that started cracking down on the chemicals it took to make the original meth.
Yeah, they cut them out.
Yeah.
You couldn't buy them. You couldn't buy fertilizer, could you?
Right. Well, and if you could, whatever you were getting, you could only get so much, and you were giving your ID
your
for
name's
it.
on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I mean, even with the Sudafed, that if you had to have it in the shake lab, we were paying people to go and
Listen,
get
I did it a bunch
us.
without knowing. I wasn't smart to this, so I was 26 before I ever did a drug. The guys that I worked with would go, "Hey, go buy me some Sudafed. I'll give you $40." I'm like, "Shoot, yeah, it only costs like $7."
Yeah.
And I'd go buy it, and I'm like, "I'll buy as much as you want." Yeah. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was actually in and around a couple of the old labs, and that was a real process. Like,
Yes.
you had to know what you were doing. and the shaking, and I think there's even another way now where they're doing something with Gorilla Glue and burying it in a cooler for 30 days.
Yeah,
Or
the ice. Yeah, it's actually so people can understand it better. I'm going to butcher it, okay? But it actually grows like a mold,
Yeah.
like a fungus. They put the chemicals in, bury it, it just starts growing. That's not how it happens, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm not hip to the.
Yeah,
I'm okay with not knowing.
yeah, absolutely.
And now we have these talks often, especially I've got teenage kids. You cannot just try a pain pill. You can't really just try some weed because of fentanyl, dude. Like,
yes.
When we were younger, there wasn't nothing wrong with trying something. I mean, but now
You can't try it.
No.
A good example. My daughter and when she was 13, she got kicked out of school because she hit what she thought was a vape in school, and it was a dab pen. And she runs to the principal instantly and says, "There's something wrong with me. I'm freaking out." She was high.
Yeah.
So they call us, and they say, "We're going to kick her out of school." So we go to a meeting, at the school board,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we got to kick her out because she was high on campus. And I was like, "Hey, I get it. If this stops her from, because we didn't even know she was vaping."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. Do you ever get any, because this is a dab pen. I didn't even know what a dab pen was." I said, "Do you ever get any fentanyl in these pens?" And he said, "In Putnam County, 2 out of every 10 we take up has fentanyl in it." I wanted to flip the table over. There was 5 or 6 people there in this meeting. I got so mad because I had overdosed and died 4 times on fentanyl. And I said, "You telling me that a kid sees his dad vaping and he doesn't know that there's fentanyl in it. Dad passes out. Kid goes, 'I'll take that to school and be the coolest guy there.'
Yeah.
Then you guys go in a bathroom and find 14 dead students." And he said, "Yeah, it could happen." He said, we've had overdoses before." And I'm like, I was so mad at that time because my daughter, the smart one, she'd get away. She'd go to school for 5 minutes and pass the 4 classes in 5 minutes just from poking her head in. She's that smart. But I thought, she got caught up with the wrong crowd. She gets put in White Plains because she was high on campus because she didn't know she was smoking a dab pen. And you got fentanyl. What if it was fentanyl? I mean, I'm like, how can we stop this? And he's like, "There's no way we can." He said, "They're so small, compact. You'd have to search everybody."
Yeah, I mean, I know that the school's doing what they can. It's not from lack of trying.
They told me this. It's the parents and it's the older kids buying it for them.
See, and then you run into sending, I'm not sure if you named her by name or not, but sending your daughter to the bad kids school. Those kids didn't just go there and start behaving.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now you've got a teenager just totally covered in temptation.
Well, I don't want to take up any of your time, but I'm going to tell you this because I want you to talk.
No, this is good.
She goes to White Plains and the principal calls us the first day. "Why is your daughter here?" And I'm like, "Man, you got the paperwork right in front of you." He's like, yeah, I get it, but like, she's above everybody here. Like, she's not cussing, she's not pulling people's hair, she's not in the fights, she's, like, why? Can we do something else?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, you're more in charge than I am here. She's got to do what she's got to do." So he calls us back and he's like, "Hey, do you care if we let Paisley go to these kids that are crying or having problems and talk with them?" And I'm like, "That's what Paisley does, buddy." So Paisley goes to White Plains for a year. While she's there, it's brutal. There's kids there that need to be there. Yeah. There's kids there that need to be locked up. She had her ups and downs in there, but there's no telling how many kids she helped that didn't have parents, that got caught with the wrong thing at the wrong time. And she'd come home and tell us these stories about, "Dad, this person was crying," or "The teachers asked me to talk to this person." what that little year, looking back at it, you know, she's of age now. She needed that. Mm-hmm. She needed to get in trouble at 13, see the consequences of it, and see the other side of it. Yeah. And it put a fire underneath her butt. It did.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a God story. That's a testimony just in itself.
She's got a good one.
That's amazing.
So you're addicted to pain pills in school. You pass high school. You get out into the world. Now, I know your wife. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I seen your son, I should have known exactly who his mama was.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
He was picked right out of her butthole.
Yeah.
That boy looked just like her. But it was there. You were in addiction when you met your wife?
Well, okay, so right out of high school, I went to high school in Livingston. I stayed there for a little while, was just getting in trouble, really over petty things, misdemeanor type things, but I had started hanging out with this big time drug dealer up there. Was much older than me. Dude was probably almost 50. But I mean, as addicts, you get in where you fit in, and you're gonna hang out with what's convenient. And I ended up, for my 19th birthday, we started partying for it days before it got here, and continued partying after it on cocaine and whatever, uppers. I ended up, I was dating this girl that was way older than me, and I had come to that point where, like, you know, this party in particular is over, I need to go to sleep. And I laid down and fell asleep for like just a couple of short minutes. It wasn't long, 30 minutes or something. And I wake up to her shaking me, telling me I need to drive her to work. And I don't know why that was the solution to begin with. I didn't even have a driver's license. Like, and we're borrowing the drug dealer guy's van. So anyways, this is a whole big long story in itself, but I ended up getting a DUI out of that taking her to work thing. And I spent, it was a DUI and like 14 other charges, because you can't just, you know, get arrested.
Oh yeah, they're going to throw the book at you.
Yeah, backing out of the driveway, I ran over the neighbor's mailbox. Like I ran it over, not on purpose, just, and so I put it in the van with me.
Oh God, they got you for stealing?
Yeah, well, it was a sweet.
Is that federal?
Yes, this is a sweet little old man and woman, and like I kind of knew them. They were my neighbor.
Yeah.
I was gonna sober up and go to them and be like, I hit your mailbox and I'll replace it. Mm-hmm. So they didn't, I don't know. In my mind, it was better than them getting up and seeing it on the ground, just getting up and it being missing. But yeah, hitting the mailbox is one federal charge and taking it with you is another. But we replaced it and those got dropped. So I didn't actually get served, you know, sentenced federally on that. But I go to jail on this, and I'm there for like a couple of weeks because nobody's willing to buy me out. My mom and my dad were both like, this is just where you need to be. So
gotcha.
I was there till court and detoxed and sobered up. And from court, I decided to come down to this area and live with my dad. And he gave me a job with him doing drilling and blasting, dynamite. And I built like a couple of years of clean time during that time. I'm 5 or 6 years older than Ashley, something like that. So I met her at a gas station that she was working at whenever I first moved down here, but she wasn't an adult yet. I mean, she wasn't a little kid either, but we didn't date. I knew Ashley for 5 or 6 years or something before we ever started dating. I moved down here, built up a couple of years of clean time, and it was New Year's Eve is when I relapsed. Out of that one was...
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's all good. Was at a party or whatever, and Decided I could, have a drink because I've beat this, whatever. So I was able to just drink and smoke some pot and nothing more really for like 6 months or something. But then once you allow doors to open, it's easier to allow more to open. A joint turns into a pill, turns into, so I ended up moving to Nashville. And I have an older son as well that I doubt you've met him.
I haven't met him.
But that's when he came into the picture. Was when I lived in Nashville and was dating his mom.
Was you blasting down there?
Yeah, I did that all the way up. I did that for a good 10 years or something.
Wow.
So anyways, me and Ashley ended up started dating, and when we started dating, I wasn't strung out addicted, but I was drinking pretty heavily. I would assume you consider that alcoholism at that
Right.
amount.
Well, he was probably working with guys 20
yeah.
years older than you that was
Yeah.
probably drinking every time that when the job ended, probably some of them while the job was going.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've been there. I've been there, so I know exactly where you was at. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. The construction industry, you're hard pressed to find sober people, period.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe it's gotten a little better with drug testing. When I first started shooting dynamite, nobody cared about a drug test, but just as prevalent as the drug testing has become, cheating, it's just as, you can order stuff on the internet. You can get it at the gas station.
Wow.
Make you pass a drug test. You see them
Oh, yeah,
right there by the
I
register.
thought you were talking about the dynamite. I was like, holy crap.
No, I don't think you can get dynamite on the internet. You may could, but you're probably going to have
I'd say, man, get in a lot of trouble. Yeah. So you're Nashville blasting. You are, at this point, you're basically an alcoholic.
Probably.
You're drinking all the time.
Yeah.
Probably partying every now and then.
Yeah.
You've got a son.
Yeah.
So how did you get back down to Cookville?
Ashley. Yeah. I was living up there in Nashville. She called me randomly. I hadn't spoken to her in probably over a year or something, and wondered if I wanted to come down here and hang out. And I came down. We hung out that weekend, and then for a couple of months, it was coming down, hanging out on the weekends, and then we ended up moving in together, and
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
So was there ever a point that you, now that you're at this stage, was there a point where you got deeper into addiction? Was you coming out of addiction?
Yeah.
Was there a point where
Well-
you told yourself, I'm in bad shape, like in your own head? Because I went through years of going, I've got this. It was up until my 12th year when I actually said, I may need help.
Yeah. I was very much a functioning addict for a long time. I went to work every day. Now, I didn't put money back in saving, none of that kind of stuff, because what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
But now, when I was living in Nashville, there was a lot of cocaine, a lot of crack. It was all just right there. That's what was there.
Yeah.
So that was real prevalent. But cocaine's always been a weird thing to me. And, the same with crack. Like, if I'm on it and high on it, like, I want it. But if I just lay down and go to sleep, I can wake
Done.
up and it can be right there, and I could care less about it.
Yeah.
But that first liner hit.
So when did you? So you, and I didn't know this until earlier. We were sitting out here talking. But when did you go? When did you give your life to God? How did that even come about?
Well, okay, so I grew up in church, and we'll have to get deeper into my story for the turning my life over to God.
Yeah, go
thing.
ahead.
And I'll speed us up a little bit.
You're good. You're good.
Me and Ashley were dating. I don't know if we were married yet or not. And was doing the blasting thing, and I hurt my back. I herniated a disc, and
How old was you?
probably 24, something like that.
24.
Yeah. And they wanted to do surgery, and I was like, no, we're going to do anything we can do besides that.
Well, you hear all those horror stories. Do not get your back operated on. Ever since I got mine cut on, I ain't been right.
Exactly.
I can imagine in your mind where you was at.
Right. And from that age, you can't convince me that you're going to do something to my back that's going to last me until I die. And so I went through several months of physical therapy and injections, and they did get it right. But during that time, I'd go to this doctor's office and he'd give me 120 Percocets, and I wasn't in there 10 minutes. And so that's when me and Ashley started down the pill lane, you know. I had really kind of been away from it since I'd left Livingston.
Right.
But I don't know anybody that can get that many Percocets and not come out addicted.
Is that the when the Oxycontin Express was going on, when everybody's going from Florida to?
Yeah, I believe it was.
That was the hard. I don't 2004 or 5.
Something like that. Yeah. But this was just in Cookeville. This was just a doctor in Cookeville.
Well, I'm just saying that's when it just exploded everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you had some. Your dad or your grandpa might have took some hydrocodones, and then all of a sudden everybody you knew had Percocets.
Yeah.
I remember we would have I would have a calendar and go, okay, Jim gets his on the 4th.
Yeah.
Tara gets hers on the 6th. I actually made Percocets my god, because that's all I thought about. I went to bed going, who can I get it from in the morning?
Yeah.
And I woke up going, who can I call to get it?
Yeah.
So I know where you was, especially with back pain, getting them from the doctor.
Yeah.
You were addicted probably before you left the office.
Yeah. I mean,
because they were there.
Yeah, 100%. And so that, led us to several years of that. The doctor, of course, quit giving them to me 6 months or something. It was like, I can't keep doing this with you.
Yeah, and then you're hooked.
Yeah.
You can't even get up out of bed without something.
Yeah. And so some time went by, and Eli was he was really small. Maybe a year, maybe 2. I don't even know that he was that old. And Ashley decides that she's going to go into the military. And the plan, she was going to go through a boot camp, get stationed somewhere other than here, and get us out of here.
She had a game plan.
She did have a game plan.
She was going to get. Was she thinking, if I move,
yeah,
we'll start over, start fresh?
Right.
Wow. So she was in active addiction too.
Yes.
I see. I had no idea. Which I hadn't seen her since high school, basically.
So she leaves and goes to the military, and I stay here and go from snorting oxys to shooting up morphine, because it's my fault, you know what I mean? But my level, my moral compass isn't a good word, but my person, me and Ashley have just always just had a thing, you know what I mean? And we kept each other level and grounded,
Yeah.
And so that was gone, and I did her so dirty while she was gone. I mean, she would get paid and go to check her account and just be
gone because your addiction.
Yeah.
And then you got on the needle.
Yeah.
Which, for people that are listening, when you go from swallowing a pill, to snorting a pill, to shooting a pill, you might as well just hang up your coat because you're going to be gone for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It is such a different, especially with morphine, because it's not like the drip they get you at the hospital.
Right.
The morphine comes, and I'm not trying to bring up war stories and glorify that, but for people that don't know, because there's people out there whose kids are in addiction and they don't understand why.
Yeah.
But for the morphine, as soon as it hits you, as soon as you put it in your arm, you get pins and needles all over your body. It's a hurt, it's and a pain and a feel good at the same time. And I got addicted to that.
Yeah.
Just that first 20-second lick.
Yeah.
And then from the morphine, if you don't have morphine, then you're breaking down Opanas. And listen, this is going to sound weird to some people, but you know what I'm talking about. We would take heat. Heat, and pour it and burn, put your pill in it and burn it down. The stuff that I was putting in my arm, I mean, I overdosed and died 4 times, but I should have been dead long before that. It just, nastiness. And Casey told me one time, we were on and off because of addiction. She said, Daniel, if I got a friend named Craig, and I would hang out with Craig all the time. He was my friend, and he was in addiction too, so,
Yeah, there is no more functioning addict.
No.
It's addict.
It's addict.
Nothing else.
And that's what I want people to understand is it's not addiction is not a choice. You don't go, hey, I want to be an addict.
Right.
It's, I want to do this to get over something in my past or to get over a pain that I'm going through right now. But the sickness comes in, and then you just don't want the sickness.
Yep.
You can't function. I tell people that being pill sick for me was like having COVID and food poison at the same time.
Yeah.
And for people that's had COVID and food poisoning, imagine having that every 8 hours.
Yeah.
If you don't have your fix in 8 hours, you're doing that. So me and you were not really worried as much about getting high at this time as we was trying to get that pain, that sickness to go away.
It was very seldom, when you get like that, it's very seldom you actually get high. And if you do, you don't enjoy it because your immediate next, that 20 seconds is cool. But the very next thought is, all right, I've got to find another score before this one
before it happens again.
And it's such a vicious cycle. It 100% becomes what you worship.
That's it.
Addiction is one of the most destructive things that you can do, but it comes in all forms that are a little more socially acceptable. Some people will overeat and are addicted to eating their feelings, and
alcohol.
Alcohol.
Getting anywhere.
Gambling, all those things. They're all trying to fill a God-shaped hole in their heart. And until you realize that that's what you're really looking for,
that's it.
I don't know that there is a break in the cycle.
Well, it's seasons. So those Percocets filled a void, I thought, for a season. Shooting filled, I thought, for a season. But I could go by, in my worst, I would wake up and go by the mirror. I couldn't even look at myself. No. Because I knew God before addiction.
I did too.
And I knew where I was supposed to be. I knew what I was supposed to do. And I couldn't even look at myself. I'd go to the bathroom and avoid the mirror. Because when I looked at myself in the mirror, there was a pulling on me from God the whole time I was in addiction. The whole time. And looking back at it now, I believed back then that there was no way out. But I knew God would get me out of it. And I don't know how to explain that. I knew I couldn't do it on my own. But I knew God would get me out of it. I was in the deepest, darkest hole I'd ever been in my life, lost everything, had no hope. I was holding hands with the devil every day, but I knew God would get me out of it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And the mirror thing is so true, because you have no choice but to look back at you, and that causes a self-reflection.
It really does. Not just a visual one. It causes your mind to look back on it.
100%.
So she's in the army, Navy,
National Guard.
National Guard,
Yeah.
and you're at home.
Oh, just
You're gone.
wide open, dude.
I remember when I was living with my wife, we got divorced, and I would steal her card, her debit card, and I'd go get $40 out of the bank, and I'd go buy me a pill, and I'd come home real quick,
Yeah.
not knowing that there's bank apps.
Yeah.
And she would ask me, "Did you get money?" No. It's terrible.
Banking error.
So you have Eli.
Yes.
Ashley's in.
Yes.
That's a National Guard, and what happens from there?
Luckily, my mother and my grandmother were involved enough that Eli was taken care of.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But she eventually gets tired of going. She's doing this for us to go to the bank to just get something to eat and can't.
Wow.
And so she's like, "Look, I'm done. You know, I got it. I understood." But so I just get worse from there. She comes back, and on her paperwork, they asked her to name the 3 places she wanted to go and the 1 place she did not want to go. And she listed off 3 places and put home as the do not want to go to place. And that's where they sent her to. And, you know, like I said before, me and her have always just been drawn to one another. So she comes back. I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm as strung out as I am.
Right.
She's partying with me some. She was really trying to do good and do right, but I pulled her right back into
It's
this
hard to
with
do
me.
it with that person that you love doing it right in front of your face.
Yeah, and so we got back together for a little short time, and then we split up again. At this point, we're both on the needle, and we're both strung out. The shake meth is everywhere.
That was my go-to if I didn't have opiates.
Yeah, I mean,
It was quick, it was easy, and
Yeah.
it would help me with my sickness.
yeah, it'll make you not sick if nothing else, or not as sick, whatever.
Yeah.
So I am. We're separated. I'm hanging out over here, and I'm doing a lot of meth because it's just there, you know. And we were doing shake, and we were doing it in gallon jugs. And I was actually out Thomas Twin Oak Road. And the 2 people I was with, we had all been up for entirely too long. And the 2 people I was with had kind of laid down and took a little nap. And so I was trying to finish a batch or whatever. And when I went to pull the product out of the liquid, it didn't produce near as much as it should have. You know what I mean? You do this enough, you know, if I do this amount of this and this, I'll get this amount.
Yep.
And it was like a third of what it should be. So I woke Spence up and was like, "Hey man, you know, this and this happened, and it's not." So whatever he told me to do, he was like, "Try putting a couple of drops of this chemical in it." So I did that, and I immediately noticed that the reaction was way stronger. And the only way I know how to describe this is if you've got it in that gallon jug, it would be like if you had a 2 liter of soda and shook it up with the lid on tight. You can feel it get real tight.
Yep.
And then you loosen the lid and let the pressure
breathe,
off
yep.
of it. Similar concept, as close as I can get to describing
Yeah.
it. And so I went to loosen the lid, and this lid didn't even really want to loosen. It had gotten that tight.
That tight.
And so I grabbed it real hard and loosened it, and it just really kind of went crazy then. So I tried to let it gas off as much as it was going to, let off as much of the carbonation, and tightened it back again. Well, this next time when I go to crack it open, I saw the flash, and then it just exploded, like literally like a bomb exploding. It blew the windows out of the bedroom, bro.
That is not just that is a chemical explosion, right? So
Yeah.
that is like napalm, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah,
it's hot
I mean,
liquid and just all kind of.
Right. You got lighter fluid and a bunch of other flammable stuff, lithium.
So when it
Yeah, so
did it get your face and stuff too?
it did. I'll show you pictures when we're done. I used to have them up online, but they're pretty brutal. And these are pictures in the hospital.
So that's like way beyond third degree.
Oh yeah. My hands were what they called full thickness. It's literally was burnt all the way through.
So
I can. That's what I can do with that one, and then that one does.
man.
So, I think I was wearing like a t-shirt and shorts. I can't swear to that. It's been 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
Something similar. Obviously wasn't dressed in my Sunday best, you know.
Well, you've been up partying for.
Yeah.
You might not even have a shirt on. I don't know.
Maybe not. No, I know without a doubt I had on a shirt and I had on boxers.
Okay.
And shorts.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so it soaked my clothes with that lighter fluid at the same time.
Yeah.
So I come running out of the bedroom. It's just like this little hallway. And so there's a bedroom, little hallway, kitchen area, and it goes out the back door. And I'm just beating all over the walls trying to get myself put out. Well, I start stripping these clothes off because they're soaked in lighter fluid. And I'm sure that they were melting to me as well because, you know, polyester and everything else that's in your clothing. So I stripped down naked because there's no time for shame. I mean,
So does this explosion have fire in it like a bomb, or was it a
yes.
chemical?
No, this is fire.
So it's like, just like we said, napalm, like a liquid
Yes.
fire, like that liquid goes on you and it's flammable and it's just burning you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know. I
And
mean,
it's your whole body's soaked in it.
yeah.
And not just fire, chemicals that they touch your skin, they absorb automatically. So
Right.
you're getting burnt below your skin.
Right. Correct. I get outside, and however, I finally get myself put out. In all reality, this might have been 30 seconds tops, maybe a minute, but it don't take long to be soaked in gasoline, lighter fluid, and light it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's no doubt the ambulance has to be called, and there's no doubt what caused this. It's not like you can just say a grease
who
fire.
called?
So the people were in the bedroom when all this happened. They didn't get burned, but they witnessed all of it because obviously it woke them up, you know. And they called.
Okay, good.
I mean,
Well, I just know I've overdosed and died before, and they just throw me to the out on the side of the road, leave me in a closet or something.
Yeah.
So you got lucky.
Yeah. They did.
God was with you.
and
God was with you.
They went to jail for this. I mean, they knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got charged with manufacturing on that. So they took a hit on it. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there. I know that the ambulance is on the way. We're all the way out in Thomas Twin Oak, though. I mean, 20 minutes at the fastest.
Yeah. Did you hear them coming?
Yeah. That's another thing. I was awake through every bit of this. Seemed like an eternity. I actually, at one point, begged them to just give me a gun. Like I was okay with just ending it. You know. I don't even know how to describe the levels of pain like it.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, and I can't even.
And I really think, had I not been so high on a stimulant, I probably would have passed out.
Absolutely.
But I was too high for my body to shut itself down.
Yeah.
So I'm laying there. They're running back and forth. I'm not real sure what they're doing. I know at one point he went in the house with a water hose, putting out you know.
Because you'd went in trying to get yourself
Right.
off the fire. So you just trapped fire in the whole house, basically.
Yeah. And I'm sure they were probably trying to hide things,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
But I'm sitting there on this carport by myself, and I started thinking about a lot of all the same things we've just sat and talked about. I know that sounds so cliche or cinematic, but I just started thinking in my head where my life started. How did I get right here? How did I get to this is probably the end, you know what I mean? How did I let my life get this far out of hand?
While you're sitting there
I'm at. Yeah.
Oh
I'm out. I'm not on fire anymore at this point, but I'm severely burned. And I started crying, and I cried out right there to God, and I have no doubt that in that moment, He saved me. I didn't go to the altar and say a pretty sinner's prayer. I didn't, none of that. He met me where I was at, in a dope house, naked, burned, and saved me right there. I have no doubt.
You knew it.
It was the purity in my heart and the crying out for Him. It wasn't the prayer that I was saying that did that. The ambulance got there, and I walked out to the ambulance, and they took some kind of liquid and poured it all over the bed. This is February, by the way. It's cold. I'm naked, and now you've just poured this liquid all over this bed. And he was like, I'm going to need you to lie down on that. And he was like, I know it's wet and it's cold. He was like, but it's, my skin, bro, is literally just falling off. And
so was that some kind of medical burn?
It was just like sterile water type stuff, but it was to keep the sheets from sticking to me. And
it pull your skin off.
Right.
Oh.
And I got laid down. They loaded me up in there, and I'd really like to find this guy somehow. I don't have a clue who he was. Just a random EMS guy, you know what I mean? But he said, look, son, he said, I don't have enough morphine on this ambulance to make this not hurt. He's like, I'm going to have to put you to sleep. He's like, I mean, he didn't just outright say that this is probably it, but it was pretty clear, you know. And I told him, I said, I'm okay with that. I'm at peace. And I really, really was. Like, I didn't want it to end right there, but you can't convince me if that would have been it, that I wouldn't have went to heaven right there. All the bad I did, everything, it all got washed away in that moment. So from there, a helicopter picks me up and takes me to Vanderbilt to the burn unit. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Wow.
Intentionally. It was a medically induced coma is what they called it.
I was in a coma. When I woke up, I didn't know I was in a coma. I thought maybe 3 seconds it went by. Did that happen to you?
Yeah. Wow. That's really
Did
hard.
you remember when you woke up why you were there?
Yes.
Okay.
My very first memory, so I guess they tried to pull me out of this a couple of different times. My actual very, very first memory of them trying to take me out of this coma, I was convinced there's a lot of doctor given drugs involved at this point.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you're coming off of drugs and I was convinced that these people had kidnapped me on like some Breaking Bad stuff and was going to keep me there and make me cook meth for them. That this wasn't a hospital.
Right.
Because the very, very first time they woke me up, there was no family or nothing. I'm in a room with people. I have no idea where I'm at, who these people are, none of this. And I start freaking out on them. And
they put you back under.
Yeah. So they come, the first one that come with a needle to put me back under, I grabbed it from them, broke it, and started screaming no needles at them. because I did know that I had decided I was changing,
Yeah.
and y'all ain't going to shoot me up with your drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then a couple big guys coming in, and there is no choice at that point.
Yeah. Did they have you strapped down?
They did when I woke up the next time.
They
learned their lesson.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up and there being family in the room, and she's dead now, but my grandma from Florida was in the room, and that was, to me, was the biggest moment. I've really messed up if my grandma from Florida came up here. I can remember, waking up. I didn't really have much of a voice at all. We need to back up a little bit, though, to the coma thing, because I've never shared this with you. My dad was going to Steve Warren's church at the time. Steve Steve works in ministry, that he's an evangelist, he travels all over. My dad called Steve, his pastor, and the very first day that this had happened, it was on, like 2, 4, and 5, and I was listed as an unidentified man, which was really strange because my wallet was right there. I told him who I was. I don't know why, but the Herald Citizen ran it with my name. So somebody in the church saw that, and everybody, close to the situation knew I was missing for 24, 48 hours, and got a hold of my parents and told them, so they rushed down there or whatever, and it's bad. The prognosis is bad. I think it was somewhere around like 12% chance that I was even going to make it. They said realistically I would probably only make it like 24 to 48 hours, and my body just wasn't going to be able to fight this off. So my dad called Steve. Steve was up either Kentucky, Virginia, somewheres like that, scheduled to do a revival. And he went to the pastor of that church and was like, listen, I have church family member, their son's in ICU. I really feel like I need to go down there and put my hands on them and pray. And the pastor, not only was the pastor like, that's okay, perfectly fine, he gave him the keys to his personal vehicle, so that Steve could drive it down there instead of the bus or whatever else. So Steve comes down to Nashville, and he said that he's taking the elevator up, and he knew the diagnosis, and he knew, and him and my dad were really close at this time, and he's like, how am I going to go in here and look my friend in the face and give him any kind of positivity at all? I'm sure none of them had any thoughts that I had said a sinner's prayer before this,
Yeah, because the life he's living.
Right. And he said, as he was stepping off the elevator, he said he heard God speak to him and tell him Psalms 118, 19. And anyway, the verse is, you shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. That's bold, dude.
Yeah.
To go in with that
yeah,
and tell that to a family. And Steve walked in there and told him that, and went to the ICU people and was like, look, we need 5 minutes with him. And of course at first they're like, no, you can't, it's a sterile room, this and that, and they essentially made it happen. And Steve said that he was on one side of me, and he said there wasn't no pretty prayer or nothing about it. He said just the smell and the scene itself was overwhelming, And he said he just kept repeating that verse. And he said my dad was on the other side, and there's a song that says, King Jesus, I know you'll hear me when I pray. I'm down here. My
here in
dad
trouble, Lord, send an angel my way.
is on the other side of me singing that. They're having church, dude. I mean...
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
I've stopped myself a couple of times.
That song was my mom's favorite song.
Was it?
Yeah, she just passed away a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know
so
that.
that hit. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So they're walking out, and Steve said he got almost all the way back to the elevator, and one of the nurses that was over me called him, caught up with him, and was like, how can you go in there and look at that family and tell them that, knowing that this kid ain't gonna make it? And Steve just looked right at that nurse and was like, I know he is. I know what I know, I mean, there was a whole lot of standing on faith that I hope that I'm never in a situation like that with one of my children. But I hope that if I ever am, I can stand in faith like that. Yeah. Slowly the prognosis would change. They'd come and say, he's going to make it, but probably like a week, and his organs are going to start shutting down. And my dad would just look at the doctors and say, I don't believe you. God said this. Yeah. And then it was, he's going to live, but they were going to take one of my arms and one of my legs. They were swelling so bad. And he was like, I don't believe you. God said this, and I believe he's going to give them to me whole. One of the last, long-term prognoses like that was that I was going to live, but I was going to have to spend a year in rehab just learning how to walk and talk again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that shrivels up your skin.
Right.
And everything draws up.
Yeah. So from the date of the accident, 51 days, and I walked out of Vanderbilt from the burn unit. And I made them let me walk.
Yeah.
Because, they're supposed to wheel you out. We had a big, long fight about legal issues and this and that. And the nurses were finally like, no, you know what? You've earned it. We've made you get up and walk and made you,
51
walk out.
days.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
which is a miracle in itself. I mean, 51 days is a long time. But
now, in 51 days now, I'm still wrapped head to toe in gauze. I had to wear these weird,
look like Lazarus coming out of the grave.
Yeah, yeah. I had to wear this weird stretchy material for like a year. I didn't just leave 51 days and go get a job.
Yeah. You had a lot. Let me check see if this is still rolling here.
Right.
Like somebody did call. We're live.
All right.
Live action.
But it was a long, hard process.
Where did Ashley? Was she at the hospital? Did
she
come
and
there?
visit me? We were split up.
Okay.
She did come visit me.
So,
she come
so
stay
Eli
with me.
was with your grandma.
Yeah.
And Dad
Eli was small enough at the time that he thought that they were there on a long trip to watch helicopters take off from the top of the building.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to tell him?
Yep.
Your dad's next door dying,
Yeah.
Once I was a little more presentable, they let him come in and see me. That one hit hard because he walked in the door and said, Dad, I've been looking for you everywhere. You got to get it together, man,
Yeah.
So, left from there. Ashley did come stay with me for a week or maybe even 2 during that time. She's still battling her own demons, and so she did leave and go back out into active addiction for 2 or 3 more months probably. And she called me one day and said, I want to get clean. And you could tell she was serious, And I gave her some numbers, different places, and our system for that is so messed up, dude. You can tell me I got to wait 2 weeks for a bed.
Yeah.
I might not want to still get sober in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Might not still be alive in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I have to fail a drug test, so I can't even start getting sober.
Yes. Yeah.
So she called all these places, and finally I was like, look, if you're really, really serious about this, call the sheriff's department and tell them you're fixing to kill yourself. Mm-hmm. They'll commit you.
Yeah.
It'll be 72 hours in Moccasin Bend, but it'll get you through and it'll get you in a bed, and from there they can start figuring things out, and she did.
Wow.
she
Wow.
went about sobriety the
I mean, that's
worst possible way.
Well, yeah, but dadgum, how many people you know would do that?
Yeah.
Hey, call the sheriff's department. That's the last people we want to call.
Yeah.
She wanted to change.
Yeah, she did, 100%. And at this point, I'm 3 months into my sobriety, however long it was. I'm really on fire for God. We're nowhere near the same stratosphere.
Yeah.
You know, but she goes and spends that time, and she called me the day that she got out of there and was like, "Would you just go hang out with me, ride around with me?" I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And so we hang out or whatever, and I invited her to church, and she was like, "Okay," you know. And this was a Wednesday night, and we still met down in Buffalo Valley in that little bitty church down there. I don't know if you remember that or not. Mm-hmm. Right past the drag strip mm-hmm. road. And at the time, Steve was working on a turnaround album, is what he called it. He took rock songs mm-hmm. and flipped them,
Christian songs, yeah.
and did at least one album, if not more than one. And so this album, we're walking up to the doors of the church, and the music to Eric Clapton's Cocaine is what's playing.
Wow.
And she says, "I thought we were going to church." I said, "Just trust me, we are. Just trust me." And we got in there and, band practiced, and Steve did his message or whatever, and she got saved right there that night. Now, from there, she still had to deal with some life situations because she had went AWOL from the military. So she still had to go 50-something days. She had to 60-something days she had to spend and pay for that. But that was 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And, we went into that really, really wide open and too fast, and jumped head first into ministry, feet first, head first, and got overwhelmed by it. And for the past few years, I've stepped back from it. I haven't relapsed and went out and started using. I've attended churches, different ones. I haven't really got locked in anywhere. But here recently, started going back to Faith Chapel where it all started. And I'm going to start doing this again, but I'm going to do it correctly this time. And I'm a lot more certain in who I am now and in my sobriety. And I haven't even had a chance to share this with you yet. I got reordained back under Steve's ministry this past weekend, so...
Eli told me.
Did he?
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
Pretty excited.
Your boy, Dad is Superman.
Yeah.
And he keeps tabs with me, you know, because me and him, we're tight knit, and him and brother are tight knit.
Yeah.
But if Dad does something, if it's buy a truck, if it's do a job, if it's get a good job and he made a little money, he's messaging me, "Hey man, Dad just did this."
Yeah.
So you're Superman. You are Superman. And I've got friends, man, that have lost their kids, and they are struggling to get them back. And Mom and Dad, or Granny and Paul, I guess it would be, no. You're going to have to prove this, and you're going to have to prove that. So the stories like me and you have, God opens doors up when you're faithful.
Yeah.
God opens doors up. He opened up doors for you. He saved your life. He brought your family back together. I mean, what a testimony. Yeah. And he did the same thing for me. So this podcast is basically, I'm going to have a lot of people on. Danny Holmes is actually going to come on because he was my DARE officer.
Yeah, he's all of our DARE officers.
Listen, that dude saved my life. I didn't do a drug till I was 26 because of Danny Holmes, because he got me so afraid of, and he was right about everything. Don't get a pill from somebody. It could have rat poison in it. It could have this. It could. Yeah. And I just want to get him on here to tell him, back in the 80s and 90s, everything you said came true.
Yeah.
But I want people to know, they hear your story, and maybe one day we can flip sides and I can tell you my story.
I was just thinking that.
And because there's grandmas, grandpas, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts that are still praying, but they don't have the faith enough to go, okay, God's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And people like you, when people hear your story, they're going to go, okay, well, if God can do it for him, he can do it for me. Because he not only brought you back to life, you're able to, your hands are like this for people that can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Your hands are like this, and you use your hands.
Yeah.
I know people that, I've got bad hips, okay, but I know people that draw disability and won't hit a lick and haven't and this is some of my family members for 30 years, and God has opened doors for you, and God is just amazing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And now,
like he will have this guy come into your life and it'll be a door opening, but if you're not out there talking to that guy, it's not going to happen.
Right.
You've got to put your work in, like you're talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
Man, I'm just so glad we got to sit down and talk, bro.
Yeah.
Because I really truly believe, and we talked about this earlier. We don't look at numbers when it comes to this. You're going to touch somebody's heart. They're either going to, and I'm claiming this in Jesus' name. Somebody's going to listen to this, and they're going to get off drugs, or help is going to come right around the corner. Families are going to be restored, and I know this is going to happen just from your testimony.
I believe it.
Pastor Shane, he said, speaking your testimony is, and I'm going to mess this up, but it's like prophesying. It's putting it out in the future for the next person. You know what I mean? It's like my testimony turns into your testimony.
Yeah.
So I believe it, and I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come over here.
I've enjoyed it. I really, really have.
Yeah.
I've been saying I'm going to start back doing this. We did a lot of media stuff back then, television, radio, and this was a real good step back into this, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to just do listen, I told people I was going to do it, and then I watch like Joe Rogan or Sean, whatever his name is, and I'm like, I'm never going to be these guys. And then, it was the devil coming in. But I don't want to be those guys. I want this show to glorify God.
Yeah.
I say a show. I want what I do to glorify God. Yeah. I don't, this is not for Daniel. This is not for clickbait. This is to glorify the Lord and what he's done for me and what he's done for you. If people can't see that and it do something to their gut, there's something wrong with them.
That sincerity and the pureness behind it will take it a lot farther than saying Daniel wants to make this show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And God put it on my heart. He put it on my heart to do it. And the devil's the one that has pushed me back, and now you're not going to be worth anything, don't blah, blah, blah. And just the other day, that's why I messaged you, because I've pushed it back, my hip pain, I didn't want to come up and down the steps, and I haven't been doing a whole lot of jobs. I've just been having my guys go out and do it. So it's a mental thing too.
Yeah.
So he's been on attack. So I fought back, and I wanted you to come on the show and share your experience.
Good. I'm glad I'm glad we did this. Really,
Absolutely.
really, truly am.
Absolutely. Well, there's going to be more to come.
We'll do it.
I'm sure that we'll be here again.
Yeah.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Well, if I can learn how to get off of live, we'll be okay, Bubba.